Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Nothing But Sports with Kent Sterling for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. Brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Call 317-849-2933. Dr. Mike O'Neill is the best dentist going. He's going to hook you up. You're going to become his next new patient like I did 26 years ago. I have never looked back. I could not be happier with the service, the professionalism, the empathy, the friendliness at Today's Dentistry. Again, 317-849-2933. So let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. We're just 5 days away from the season opener. They're going to be in Los Angeles to play against the Chargers, and Jacoby Brissett is going to be under center. He's going to be the starting quarterback for this team in 2019 and likely into 2020. He signed an extension yesterday, contract extension that's going to pay him $30 million over the next 2 years. All right, so a lot of people are saying, well, it's like you used the franchise tag in 2020, but it's not really. Here's how it's a little bit different. Jacoby Brissett this year is going to cost the Colts roughly $15 million. All right, 2 years, $30 million, and you can work the cap number in different ways to get it to show different things, right? And get it to count in 2019 in one way, in 2020 in another. But let's just split it down the middle, all right? So it's going to be $15 million this year, $15 million next year. It could have been $2 million this year, and then the number for franchise tagging a quarterback in 2019, $24.865 million. That's a lot of cabbage. So all in, you're talking about $30 million or so, right? But with part of that money and a good portion of that money now allocated into 2019, what you've done is opened up at least $10 million under the cap that you can spend next year. That would not have been the case had they franchise tagged him after this year. You also put yourself in a position where you can franchise another guy next year, right? You can only franchise one guy, so you pick your guy. And if it's not going to be Jacoby Brissett, and it's smart for you to franchise somebody else next year, you can go ahead and do that. Also, the collective bargaining agreement is going to expire after the 2020 season, so you're going to have a new CBA. And if the new CBA penalizes teams as they move forward and continue to try to franchise people, right now with a franchise tag going into a second year, you franchise a guy, let's say in 20, and then you want to franchise Brissett again in 21, you have to pay him 120% of what he made that first franchise tag year. As you move into 2021, that number could go even higher. This is really smart. You take care of all the crossing of the T's and the dotting of the I's now, and you move forward knowing what you're going to owe, when you're going to owe it, and how it's going to apply to the cap without having to make a determination in the offseason as to what Jacoby Brissett is going to make or what you would like to pay him in 2020. This is kind of interesting to me. Jacoby Brissett, he's his own agent. He operates without an agent. He doesn't have to pay the percentage. And he explained in his media availability today when he was asked about that relationship, and he talked about a bunch more stuff. Here's Jacoby Brissett.
How does this change things? Does it change things?
Not at all. I don't think it changes anything at all.
Is it sort of important to not let it change things?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, just to... money doesn't define me, so it therefore wouldn't change me I would be anybody different. So just go out there and play football. That's what I'm excited for.
Jacoby, is that a goal to get this done before the start of the regular season?
It's just whenever it got done, it got done. It was never, my priority, so.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have an agent, or do you handle all your...
Yeah, I do it myself.
Why?
Because I don't like people to, bullshit on my behalf, so I'd much rather just say it for myself.
What's the process been like, though, having to do it on your own with everything else that's been?
I did it in my rookie contract too, so I kind of had the gist of it. But when you're honest, and that's all you can be is honest.
That's pretty unique, though, right?
Yeah, I think a couple other players do it around the league.
Does this sort of show, does financially their support of you? Do you look at it that way or not?
I thought they supported me all along. So yeah.
But to get this out of the way before the season starts, and contractor, does that give you a sense of relief, though?
No, we still got to play a game and try and win, So not necessarily relief of
How did it come up?
money.
Did you approach him, or did they approach you?
No, they approached me.
Are they making a statement of some sort to you? What are they saying to you by committing to you the way they are?
I think that's a question for them. I'm obviously, grateful beyond words for this opportunity for the Irsay family and Ballard and the team of trusting me. So it's hard to put that part in words, but it's still got to go play football.
Jacoby, I'm curious. With 12 gone, will the offense change at all, or is this offense what it is and you're running it now?
It's just the offense is what it is, and I'm running it now. So yeah, I like how you worded that.
I mean, they tailor to a quarterback's strengths. Things you do. How will people see a change?
I guess they'll have to see, and then they'll be able to tell the change.
Jacoby, how would you describe kind of your wave of emotions the last 2 weeks, from what Andrew told you to putting pen to paper earlier today?
I mean, obviously started off sad because, a great friend is retiring, but, just excited now to just move forward. And, we got an unbelievable opportunity coming up this week, so just been focusing on that, to be honest with you, as hard as that is to believe.
Excuse me if you've already answered this question, but
I'll let you know if I already answered.
and we know that. But what has it been like as far as your workload mindset? Has it changed at all since you officially became the starter?
I know
you said you think like a starter, but now that you are officially, has it been different in the past week and a half?
The contract didn't solidify me as officially a starter.
Hey, I'm over the contract. I'm sorry. Right. But just from the preparation standpoint to get ready for week one.
Yeah, nothing changes. And, that's the way our room works. Frank and Nick hold everybody in that room to the same standard that they would if it was last year and Andrew was the starter. So, the preparation wouldn't change from that standpoint.
Do you know Brian Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer? Yeah,
Brian
I know.
Hoyer,
yeah.
Do you have a relationship with him?
Yeah. I do.
Positive, and you're
looking
forward to working with
him? Yeah, no question.
Jacoby, where do you know him
from our past history. From one, playing against him, and then, he's kind of one of Tom Brady's backups, so we kind of fall into the same category now.
You guys missed each other by a couple months in New England, is that right? You weren't together, I mean.
Me and Hoyer?
Right.
No.
What have you seen from LA? A chance to start focusing on a game now.
A fast group. They run their stuff and they run it really well. They got a lot of great players. Obviously when you think of them, you think of their front two guys. They can change the outcome of a game in a heartbeat. So just being able to withstand that.
Maybe despite all that's gone down since you reported the training camp, is what you're doing today just the same as it was day one of training camp up there in Westfield?
As far as which part?
As far as your day-to-day, getting better 1%, buying in and knowing, like you said, preparing every day like you're the starter now.
Well, during training camp, I probably saw y'all one time, so now I'll probably see y'all a lot more often. But everything else stays the same. Stick to my routine and just continue to, find ways to get better.
Coming in 2017 the way that you did, having to kind of learn the offense on the fly, did it change the way you see the game and the way you prepare? And ultimately, do you feel like it makes you a better player to kind of see?
No question. I think it made me a better player. Being able to, learn a lot of things on the fly, as you would say. But, honestly, like going back and like really studying myself and studying football and just understanding, offenses, attacking defenses. Was a tremendous asset for me.
That's Jacoby Brissett. Nick Sirianni, the offensive coordinator. He spoke about the Chargers, about Brissett, and a bunch of other stuff today in his media availability. Let's hear from Nick Sirianni.
I think that anybody who's playing quarterback for you, they're going to have their favorites. So Andrew had his favorites. Jacoby has his favorites. So we stay within the scheme. We do, and we do with what fits our players the best. So if Jacoby likes something that Andrew didn't, you might see a little bit more of that, and vice versa. So that's how it changes, just so we can adapt to the needs and the likes of our players.
This is a big moment for him. This is a huge chance for him. And it doesn't seem like he's been any different the last 10 days. And that's kind of like how he is behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
You get a sense of that? I mean, a lot of guys might be in over their head.
Sure.
It doesn't seem like that with him.
He started games before, but we talk a lot about being consistent and being the same guy every day. That's something that is a coach's dream right there. Is that guy what you know what you're going to expect. And Jacoby's been that since day one here. It hasn't mattered if he has taken first team reps, second team reps, scout team reps. It doesn't matter. He's been the same guy every day, and he's prepared himself as a starter, and he's prepared himself for this situation right here. And that's great that you're noticing that. I know the players are noticing that. Our coaches are noticing that, and that gives a nice calmness to everybody, and Jacoby himself.
Do you have to go through his favorites with him, or is that something you already have known because he was the backup and if he went in, you don't want to call him out of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, but we know some of the stuff that he might feel really strongly about, just on him making it work alone. Like, what's his stats on that play right there throughout the training camp or throughout OTAs. So we have a good feel with what he likes, but it's always just a constant communication between myself, Marcus, and Frank and Jacoby of what he likes and what he feels good about, and so it's yes to both answers or both questions, I guess.
And it's kind of dependent on game plan too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So depending on what the defense runs or what they've shown or what their tendency may be, that's 100% correct. He's going to like certain things versus different defensive coordinators.
You and Frank and Chris have talked endlessly about these intangibles that he has. He has whatever it is. Specifically, from a tangible point of view, what does he need to do really well to succeed? I mean, what are the quarterbacking things that he needs to do well to maybe take the next step from just being a good backup to being a real starter?
Sure. It's that consistency of just the accurate throws. And it's any good quarterback that I've been around has been two things. They've been really good decision makers. They take care of the football and they made good decisions, and they're accurate with when they, hey, I know where to go with the football. I see the coverage. I know where to go with the football, and then they can deliver a strike. The thing that Jacoby has, in addition to that, is he has escapability, and that's those three things. Just continue to perfect those three things, because I firmly believe when you have those three things, particularly the first two, you're going to be a successsul quarterback.
Have you noticed his accuracy improve?
I have.
Because he's been working with House a lot.
I have.
That's kind of one of the things he struggled with in 17.
Yeah, I think Tom and Marcus has really taken Marcus Brady, our quarterback coach. They've done a great job of continuing to improve his fundamentals. I see his timing and continue to improve because of his knowledge with the offense. When you hitch a couple times in your drop, it's because you don't have a great feel of where you're going with the football based off the coverage. And I've really seen him grow in that aspect of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch throw. That's something that we stress a lot, and that's something that I can continue to see him develop at, which is just going to help everybody around him, the receivers, the offensive line, not having to protect as much, the receivers not having to get open for as long.
Nick, for an OC, what is this week like in getting Brian Hoyer ready in case you need him? And how much of a crash course is it over the next?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's trying not to install the entire offense with them right at the beginning. It's, hey, okay, we're in a week-by-week thing now. We'll try to show. We'll tell you as much as we can in the origin of why each play is called the way it is, so it makes sense from a greater aspect. So it kind of meshes and it fits for him, and so he understands it. But you can't go back to what you did day one of install one. It has to be, hey, we're catching you up as we go. We're catching you up as we go. Here's the game plan. Here's where your reads are. Here's where everybody lines up. Here's what we're telling the wideouts, the protection rules, so on and so forth. So he gets all that information, and then from there we find out, hey, what do you like, Brian? As far as, again, it's the same thing, right? We talked about earlier. What do you like, Brian? What's your favorites? What do you feel comfortable with? And then really zero in on that if you had to go in the football game.
Obviously, other people are making those personnel decisions, but is that a conversation even on the front end before signing? Is this guy someone who can come in and do that and have that aptitude and be able to pick up that stuff?
Absolutely. I think, we got the best backup quarterback in the history of football as our head coach. So, he knows what it takes, right? He knows what it takes to be a backup quarterback. And being smart and being tough and being accurate, right? And that goes back to the, but that smartness, that really comes into play because you don't get the reps. You don't get the reps all week. You're running, a lot of times you're the scout team quarterback as well, and you're running the Chargers offense. You're Phillip Rivers for the week, right? And so, it takes a special guy to be a good backup quarterback, and we think we found that in Brian, and he's been a backup for so many different teams, and I can't tell you how many different texts I got yesterday from former players that played for me in the past, that played with Brian, or his former coaches that said, and it was the same text. It was like it was a joke. It was the same text every single time, no matter who it was from. You got a real pro there. He's going to be a great asset to Jacoby. So that was really comforting, and obviously our scouts did their job to really do their homework on that. And Brian's been a great backup quarterback in the NFL for a long time now.
When you talked about when you had a guy like Andrew who's so good at the line of scrimmage, if you didn't like something, you would change the play. Does Jacoby have that same kind of freedom? If he sees something, and so he can count out with the line and have freedom in that area.
Yeah, one of the things we try to teach all our guys is, hey, what is this good against? What is it not good against? What are you coming up to the line of scrimmage and saying, wow, I really like this play. I'm gonna make this thing work because I know it. And what are you coming up and saying, ooh, that's a problem? And we've tried to really stress that from day one as far as what that is and what can give him problems. So I think that he's been experiencing this from day one, and he's taken so many reps with the first team this past, and we've really made a focus of this year as far as getting out of bad plays, as we felt like we could have done that a little bit better last year at times, and so we've really made a focus, and Jacoby's gotten all those reps to do that. So his his ability to get out of play, he's got the same access as Andrew had to get out of bad play.
I know he's been working the first unit since April, but since Jacoby officially became the starter, have you spent even more time with him, or is it kind of the same as what you spent with him during training camp and during the offseason?
Yeah, that's a good question. You generally end up spending more time with the guy that is going to play, and Marcus spends all his time with the quarterbacks, all of them, right? And I think as you get closer to games, you obviously spend more time, the offense coordinator and the head coach, the play caller, the head coach, as Frank is, you spend more time with that starter, some separate meetings that you have with just him to get those likes and the dislikes and everything like that. So, yeah, just naturally because of his position, we've had a couple more meetings with him than I guess we would in the past.
You talked about Jacoby and what you look for, the accuracy and the decision making. A couple of areas that you guys have been really good in is red zone, third down. Mm-hmm. Would you anticipate a drop off or not because of him being there instead of Andrews?
Yeah, no, our goals are the same in third down, and our goals are the same in red zone. We're trying to convert whatever the down and distance is. We're trying to convert, and whatever the goal to go is, we're trying to score a touchdown. And so the goals are the exact same. The goals are the exact same. We know Andrew was a great quarterback in those situations, and we have very high hopes that Jacoby will do the same.
Nick, I think it's the first time we've talked to you since Andrew retired. What were your initial reactions when you broke the news?
Yeah. The initial reaction is, you're just a little bit taken back, as everybody was. You saw everybody's reaction, and I know you guys have your own opinions to what your reaction was. And my main thing that I thought was, it was sad that I was losing a friend, losing the quarterback and coach relationship is so special and so different. Than any other position on the field. You spend so much time together. He's an extra game planner. He's the coach on the field. So any time I've ever left a player, whether I change coaching positions or whether I've changed teams, the initial reaction is the same. Man, I'm going to miss that guy. I'm really going to miss that guy. And obviously, he did so many good things on the field, but it's the relationship, right? I said to him, it's almost like we're going through a breakup, but we'll still talk. But it's that relationship that you'll miss. But, with any, and I hate to sound cliche, but with any relationship you lose, you gain another one, and I really look forward to having that same relationship. And Jacoby and I have had a great relationship from the start, and I look even further to continue that relationship with him.
It was a weird month before that. Did you see this coming?
No.
One of the advantages you guys had last year is people could go and look at the disparate parts. They could look at Frank's pass or your pass or Andrew's pass. They didn't know what they were going to get as a whole. Do you get a little bit of that back now that Jacoby's the starter?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's fair because you just don't know exactly what. Again, you don't know what they don't know exactly what he likes, and how he makes things work, and like you said, there's coaches that run systems, and then there's coaches that run systems but adapt to their players of what they do. I think a lot of good coaches do. All coaches will do that. So again, we run a system with adapting to our players. So yeah, I guess there's an element of surprise that we get back right there. That's to our advantage.
I think we're speaking of surprise. Is it fair to say that you think you know how you're going to play, but you don't know? The only body of work really is 2017.
Right.
And that was almost a throwaway year. But do you think you know, or are you curious?
Yeah, I'm confident that I'm just so confident that you practice how you play, and we've seen what obviously we watched all 17, but we've seen exactly what we've gotten from him in practice the last 2 years. I'm such a believer in that yeah, I think we know.
What can you take away from 17 other than he's a tough kid?
Yeah. Good question. I haven't thought about that. I really don't have a good answer because I haven't thought about that year.
All right, that's Nick Sirianni, the offensive coordinator for the Colts. And he, not only does he sound confident, he looks confident as he's talking about the 2019 edition of his offense. Lots of other things going on. The Cubs are going to play against the Seattle Mariners. You've got the Fever about to wrap up the season. The Indianapolis Indians, they did that last year, a losing season for the Indians, but a lot of really good baseball out at Victory Field. Lots going on in the world of sports. We saw that Jordan Geronimo has committed to the Indiana Hoosiers. He is going to join that 2020 recruiting class of Trey Galloway and Anthony Leal as freshmen about a year from now. He's ranked just inside the top 100, but people say he's got crazy upside. We'll see about all that. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't get all excited about this kind of stuff. I don't care about rankings in particular because who's doing the ranking, right? And what would separate Geronimo from, like, if he's ranked 84th or 85th, as he is at 24/7 Sports, and the 60th guy, or the 70th guy, or the 55th guy. It really doesn't matter to me. The proof will be in the pudding. He's a kid from New Hampshire. He's going to come to Bloomington. They say he's extra long. He's 6'6", 195. He can jump out of the gym. We'll see, right? Archie Miller putting together a good 2020 class that looks like there's a cultural basis in his recruiting that I really like. Smart guys who love basketball and then go get the measurables. Right? You got to have measurables, but you've got to have all these guys pass through a cultural kind of a filter, or you've got big problems. That's Sports Nothing But Sports for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. Join me for Breakfast with Kent tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock on Facebook Live, 8:15 on Periscope Live, and also the audio edition right here on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on thegruelingtruth.net. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You should have no trouble joining me every single day. And, of course, follow me on Twitter, @Kent Sterling.